Hello, my name is Bradley Mangum. The personalized event that I will be discussing is the 4-day hike across Bruce Trail. Bruce Trail is a hiking path that is about 900 kilometers and starts in Queenston, Ontario, and ends in the northernmost part of Tobermory, Ontario. BruceTrail.org says that less than 80 registered people a year complete this hike. This presentation is specifically aimed at explaining all the details behind how I plan to optimize my performance so I can complete this hike. The 3 training methods I will use to prepare myself is cardiorespiratory training, core training, and resistance training. The goal of resistance training is not to become more explosive in this instance, but to aim for many repetitions at a manageable weight until exhaustion. This will help make muscles stronger, aid in cardiorespiratory endurance, and improve the aerobic and anaerobic fitness levels. Core training is an important part of training for this hike. Hiking takes place on uneven ground. Having a stronger core will help aid in balance and help avoid injury. Finally, cardiorespiratory training. Cardiorespiratory training is one of the most important aspects of this training. The goal of cardiorespiratory is to improve the body's ability to deliver oxygen to parts of the body for extended periods of time. When the cardiorespiratory system is put under large amounts of stress, the kidneys will send signals to the bone marrow and tell them to produce more red blood cells. These red blood cells carry oxygen to muscles and produce ATP with glucose. Therefore, the more blood cells you can force your body to make, the longer the aerobic system can function. To complement these 3 methods of training, I will utilize the 3 training principles: individual differences, specificity, and progressive overload. Progressive overload is an important principle for the training for the 4-day hike because it is a necessity to have strong enough musculoskeletal system and cardiorespiratory system to complete the trek. To improve these systems, I must overload them during my training. By working my cardiorespiratory system and musculoskeletal system at a rate that becomes progressively more challenging, it will ensure that they will become stronger and better able to keep up with the load that I will be putting on my body for the 4 days. The second important principle is specificity. I must be able to train my respiratory and skeletal muscles to keep up with long periods of work. Exercising my anaerobic system with the goal to be sprinting for 4 days is obviously not realistic. I will aim to train my body for what it needs to be prepared. That is a high endurance aerobic system and strong durable muscles. The final training principle I utilize is individual differences. Unit 4 Activity 5 says individual differences means training is not always one size fits all. You must train your body's individual needs. I, for example, would train my joints. I have a history of bad ankles. Strengthening my ankles will ensure strong stability and prevent pain or swelling that may impede performance during the event. Everyone's bodies have their own needs. It's up to that person to decide if they need any extra training to help prepare them. As for nutrition, it's important I monitor what I take in during training, during the event, and when I'm recovering. During training, I need to make sure I am taking plenty of carbohydrates to give me energy needed to train, as well as proteins so that the tissue in my body can build, thus increasing ability. Normally, 2.5 cups an hour, or whenever you're thirsty, is a safe maximum. Do not drink too much water. Healthline.com gives good examples of foods that are good specifically for hikers. They explain why each individual food is good for the body and what kind of macromolecules are good for hiking. They say fats, protein, and a lot of carbs are the ideal foods. After the event, I will need plenty of carbohydrates and proteins. These carbs will help replenish lost fuel for the body quickly and ensure everything is properly nourished. Proteins are also very much needed, as it's likely after a strenuous event like a 4-day hike, your body will experience some degree of wear and tear to the muscles. Proteins will help repair and maintain tissues and muscles. Leading up to the event, I should be eating fats in hopes to build up glycogen deposits so I can dip into them when I get exhausted during the event. Taking in plenty of water is also important, but over drinking will not be as dangerous during the training as it will during the event. But 2.5 glasses of water an hour, or whatever you're thirsty, is a good amount. CoachMag.com gives good examples of foods that have strong abilities to aid in the body's performance. They refer to their foods as healthy, legal performance-enhancing drugs. These foods draw similar properties or effects illegal performance enhancers have, but are completely healthy. Now, during the event, while I'm on the hike, it is very important that I'm constantly taking in carbs to get short-term energy. Also, I should aim to take in healthy fats while I take rests. This will give the body fuel to break down over a long time. Staying hydrated is also important. Depending on your climate you're hiking in, fluid loss can be even more prevalent than usual. Dr. John M. Berardi, the co-founder of Precision Energy, agrees that when it comes to recovery, proteins and carbs are the most important macromolecules. Intrinsic and extrinsic factors are things that we cannot always control, but we can take action to help manage them. By managing them, we can help avoid obstacles that could impede performance. 4 intrinsic factors that I feel would be important to me are self-doubt, lack of goal, confidence, or lack of proper mental training. To prepare for these factors, I must mentally train for this event. Understanding the challenges and difficulties I will face is important as well as having a reason why you need to succeed. Unit 4 Activity 6 states, by setting a specific goal and having a positive attitude, it will increase confidence in your ability to succeed. Proper preparation is something that has always made me feel confident in any situation. Weather, terrain, and wildlife are 3 extrinsic factors that cannot always be fully managed. Weather can be unpredictable, but you can be ready for these possible situations. Checking the forecast for the days during the event will help me prepare for weather. If it's raining, you could bring rubber boots or an extra pair of socks. If it's supposed to snow, you could bring extra layers to put on. BruceTrail.org was an amazing source for this. They say that the terrain on this hike has several streams, rivers, caves, cliffs, hills, and uneven grounds. Therefore, I should bring proper running shoes and have waterproof boots as well as extra socks. Shoes like Birkenstocks would not be a smart choice to go hiking in. This could lead to injuries on the feet or joints as well as uncomfy wet feet. BruceTrail.org also says there are often deers, coyotes, goats, black bears, rattlesnakes, ticks, bees, poison ivy, and several other dangerous animals or plants. They say it's best to stay on the path to avoid specifically ticks as well as these animals. But if you were put in any dangerous situation, you should not run, but instead slowly back away. Wearing closed-toed shoes and long pants will help avoid against tick and snake bites while hiking. Finally, pre-existing medical conditions, injury susceptibility, or potential injuries are not always in our control. I must prepare for them. Carrying medication for medical conditions is important, as well as bringing things to treat injuries like cuts or sprains. If an unexpected medical emergency comes up, it is always important to have a cell phone on me. For performance-enhancing aids I would consider to use, because it could potentially affect my performance, is coconut water, magnesium, chromium, or conjugated linoleic acid. Conjugated linoleic acid is a type of fat that athletes use to reduce muscle damage and increase lean muscle mass after exercise. This supplement is very popular with bodybuilders. I recommend using this while training to help prepare my musculoskeletal system for the work I need to complete. It is important to take proper doses. Too much can lead to nausea or diarrhea. Chromium is a vitamin that is essential to our bodies. Healthline.com explains chromium helps transport chains of amino acids to muscle tissue. These chains can help with muscle growth, muscle pain reduction, reduction of muscle fatigue, and can help prevent muscle tissue breakdown. Taking a healthy amount of chromium has no side effects and can make this supplement helpful for training and performing during this event. Coconut water is also a good aid for athletic performance. Coconut water contains many electrolytes. Electrolytes help regulation of water levels in the body. They can help keep the body hydrated and avoid hyponatremia. Finally, magnesium. Magnesium helps improve circulation. Specifically, it helps move blood sugar into muscles and help with disposing of lactic acid. Magnesium will help speed up the rate in which the aerobic and anaerobic system can obtain sugars needed to produce ATP. By disposing of lactic acid, it will help with the recovery, for example, when I'm sleeping. It will also help in the reduction of muscle fatigue during this hike. 3 aids that will detract from my performance are steroids, blood doping, and HydroCut. These are all performance enhancers, but their side effects greatly outweigh the positive effects, or do not have an aid specific to this event. Steroids are commonly known to help with muscle growth. It helps produce proteins needed to build muscle tissue. However, if you're using steroids during this hike, or at any point prior in your life, you are likely to experience symptoms such as insomnia, unfavorable changes in cholesterol, upset stomach, vomiting, fatigue, headache, and high blood pressure. These are not symptoms you want to experience during an event. It can greatly damage performance. Blood doping would be the perfect performance enhancer for a long-distance hike. By increasing your overall red blood cell count, your circulatory system can transport more oxygen to muscles to ensure the aerobic system can produce large amounts of ATP. The reason I think this drug would detract from performance is because by increasing your red blood cell count, your blood pressure will also greatly rise, leaving you with a higher chance of stroke or blood clots. People are most likely to suffer from one of these symptoms within the first few days after reintroducing it to the body. Risks like this could end up ruining my ability to perform in my hike completely. HydroCut is typically a drug that is used for weight loss. Drugs like this will detract from my performance because it will make it more difficult to accumulate and maintain glycogen deposits. These glycogen deposits are necessary to having a steady amount of energy during a hike. One final thing I would like to include in my 4-day hike is sleep. Having good rest habits will reduce muscle fatigue and allow for foods to be broken down into fuel that the body can use the next day. Backpacker.com recommends that you have 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep per night while hiking. This will help combat insomnia and give the body proper rest. They also recommend that you bring a small tent in your backpack so that you have a safe shelter from wildlife and weather.